Rufus Butler Cedar's artwork, from books to cards to sun catchers to tiles, elicits wonder and delight. His Scanimation picture books are wildly popular, including the #1 New York Times bestseller, Gallop. We are delighted to have the founder of I Think Inc. on Mid-Morning. Good morning, Rufus.
Good morning, Liz.
I have to tell you, I was up in Shipshewana, Indiana, with my great niece who just turned 11 over the summer, and we were in one of the stores there, and we came across your book, Swing, and she goes, "Oh, Scanimation." She was all excited, and I said, "Kylie, I've never heard of this," which really made me lose a lot of cool factors in her eye. But anyway, that was my first encounter with your books, and they are just little amazing works of art. So your life tiles inspired you to create a line of optical toys, including the Scanimation books. Let's back up and talk about life tiles, which really grew out of your desire to make a new kind of motion picture. Tell me how your mind works, Rufus.
Boy, you were right on the money. I was originally an independent filmmaker, and I taught movie making at the Boston School of the Museum of Fine Arts. And I was always fascinated with those old optical toys, I guess, like flip books and zoetropes, those drums that spin around and you look through and you see the horse galloping.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, wouldn't it be great to do a giant wall that animated when you walk by but would not use any electricity or motors? And that's when I started fiddling around with lenses. And I finally developed a glass tile I called a life tile, which we hand cast in my studio. And I emblazon images on the back that are coded. But from the front, they look like regular images until you start to walk by these murals I do. And then the images actually come to life and move alongside of you. At least they appear to.
Yes. So it is an optical illusion. Tell me, how long does the process take? Is it one image loaded on top of an image on top of an image?
I take a whole bunch, just like an animator, a whole bunch of different animation frames, somewhat like a flip book.
Sure.
But I combine them, all of those frames, into what I call a scrambled image or a coded image.
Okay.
And I sandblast and bake those images into the back of the tiles. In fact, but it takes up to a year to do a sizable mural. I just finished one for the new Copernicus Science Center in Warsaw, Poland, 80 feet long. That took a year, and we just finished it.
Amazing. So you started with the life tiles, and now you've got toys, you've got other things, you've got greeting cards, amazing things. But let's talk about the books.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Explain, if you would. Let's talk about Swing. This is a Scanimation picture book, Kids in Motion, for someone who's going, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Describe the book.
I will. Well, as we described, a good way to look at animation is something called a flip book, and everybody, all kids know how to make those, where you flip like a deck of cards. You flip a bunch of pages. But what I've done is I figured out a way to combine all of those pages and put them on one page. Now, there's a window on every page of Swing, and as you, for instance, open the cover of the book, the picture comes to life and moves all by itself. The picture in the window.
Yes.
So what's happening there is there's a little sliding mechanism built in that when you're opening the page, it's simply sliding a piece of acetate that has special lines on it, and underneath it there's that scrambled image I described. But to your eyes, you see just a movie, basically, a silhouette of, say, a baseball player smacking a ball at you, or a soccer gal bouncing the ball juggling the ball on her knees, or an ice skater spinning.
And it goes forward and backwards depending on how you're turning the page, too. I just realized it goes backwards.
You have total control on how fast you open or close that page. You can make them go forwards, backwards, stand still, or go in slow motion.
So are you a hero to kids?
Well, I don't know, but kids seem to enjoy the stuff I do. As you mentioned, I not only do books, but sun catchers they can hang in their windows that, like, you'll see the horse gallop just as it dangles and turns at the end of its string. And a new toy I just developed for kids called a Strobotop. Sounds like RoboCop, but it's a little handheld flickering light that you aim at a top. You spin the top, and the animals come to life and move, and you can even draw your own animation. So anything that animates and moves fascinates me.
So you get to earn a living doing what you love.
Aren't I fortunate?
You are most fortunate. Yes. Do you have more ideas than you have time to develop?
I wish. No, I do have a lot of ideas, but I can tell you that 90% of them are just terrible.
Really?
Yeah, I work empirically, I guess you say, like Edison, trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually fail more than I succeed. But when I got a good thing, like something like the life tiles that
Yes.
work, and something like the books, the scanimation technique, I work it and I rework it and I rework it. And I'm working on a new book right now based on, I can't say exactly what it is because we haven't signed the contract, but it's a children's book, a famous children's book. It's also a movie, and I'm always learning new stuff. I'm wrestling with it right now, trying to develop a visual language that will be a little different from swing and gallop.
Wow, has other technology helped you do what you want to do? I'm thinking, all the technology that we've had in telephones and, iPhones and all that kind of stuff. Is what we're learning in those fields having any impact on what you can do, enabling you to do something that was in your head that before that technology came around, you didn't have the basic tools?
That's a great question. Well, originally, like any photographer, when I did the lifestyles, I did everything in the darkroom. I go out, I would photograph or film the subject or draw it from scratch and go in the darkroom. But now, with the advent of computers, I'm able to process the images much faster and even draw them faster. And also with the advent of new materials, such as certain kinds of plastics, that made it easier to do books like Gallop and Swing, where the plastic element, the sliding acetate, is an important part. It has to remain perfectly flat and in full contact with the image, so it's clear. Without technology, I don't think that anything quite like what I'm doing would have been possible 100 years ago. Do
you see yourself as an artist, Rufus?
Yeah, I am. I am an artist and an inventor, and a lot of people, that raises their eyebrows. They figure you have to be one or the other. But, we all grow up differently and follow different paths. My father was quite a bit of an inventor, and he was a journalist, and he wrote about inventors, and I think I got that from him as well as photography. My mother was a piano teacher, and so I think I got a little bit of the arts from both of them and a little bit of scientific expertise as well. So I use all that.
Your website is called I Think Inc., E-Y-E, thinkinc.com, and their listeners will find all that you have created. Are your cards, you also have greeting cards, which have ballroom dancers and piano hands and soccer players, very reasonably priced at $5.95. I mean, you can spend that much just on a card that you read, and that's it.
That's right, and these will stick around forever. As long as you don't, throw them away or rip them in half, they'll just keep performing, sure. So
are your cards in stores, or is most of what you sell available on your website only?
Well, because our stuff is specialized, it's a little hard to get. We do sell to about 500 to 1,000 stores at any given time of the year. But if you want exactly a certain design, just go to my website, and you can order directly from us at the same price. And those are $5.95.
And let's talk about the sun catchers. Again, some of the same images, butterflies, hummingbirds, rope skipper, runner, swimmer, lucky pig, as I mentioned, all kinds of things there. And while you may say, well, this is great for kids, I just see adults being fascinated by this stuff.
Yeah, fortunately, as you pointed out, my stuff seems to have crossover appeal. Kids and adults seem to like it. I think it's just that everybody's fascinated with motion, and they love the beauty of human and animal movement.
Is there an image, a moving image, that you've not been able to create?
Well, maybe this new movie I'm working on.
Okay.
The book of the movie, I'm running into some real problems, but I'll let you know when I run into something I can't surmount. I always find a way around it. Very good.
Rufus Butler-Cedar, thank you so much for joining us and for making reading more fun, even more fun than it already is. These are great. These swing books describe them. They're almost like a young child's thick paper book because it holds the scanimation inside of it.
It's often described as a board book, which technically it's not, but it's very durable, and we've heard that it can stand up under quite a bit of torment, although the really tough kid will eventually find a way to dismember it.
You are so much fun to talk to. Thank you, Rufus. It was a delight to meet you.
Well, thanks a lot, Lynn.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.